So please get ready and welcome Emma Purshouse.
That's a bit naughty, wasn't it, that? I'm going to start with the small poem that starts the book off, and it's called A Magpie Surprises the Teenager at number 17. Here I am, all swagger and chatter, poet-like I'm sticking my beak into crevices and cracks, prying into chimney pots, eavesdropping, picking out mossy morsels from your guttering, coming to rest on the sill, peering in at your window. My eyes are brazen black beads, holding your gaze. I know you, don't I? That's the poem that starts the book, and the reason that it starts the book is all of the poems in the book are actually connected to a black country street, or close. So all of the poems kind of have a house number or are related to a particular property in the close, and that first one is the kind of magpie looking through the window, and I think really I've been the magpie peeping into like imagined windows and trying to imagine what goes on in each person's house. The next poem that I'm going to do is it's based on a series of tweets by a councillor from Glasgow called Kim Long about refugees and the kind of Kafkaesque kind of world that they're forced to live in. It was quite, I think it got retweeted loads what she actually said about that. And this is an imagined character that lives on the second floor of the low-rise flats that overlooks the canal in my imagined close. It's called Moses. Moses is not sure how he washed up here, all eggs in one basket, so to speak, stranger in a strange land and all that. But here he is. 2 weeks ago, a card came through that gave him right to work, and so he did. Part-time, a cleaning job. Last week, another card that says he has no right to work, and so he's stopped. This week, Moses, at a loss, has spent time gazing from his empty flat at bulrushes, which he notes are home to waterfowl, not ducks, but other sorts. This morning, for a change of air, he's standing on the landing as the folk across the way head out, slam doors, and give him such a look as hard as life. The birds, he blurts, on the water at the back. The old bloke curses, walks on ahead, but the woman stops, blinks, swallows hard and says, "Coots, more ends perhaps." "And the difference?" Moses asks. She shrugs. "Not much, I don't suppose." She's thinking of the man, gentle as a lamb, who tends her sister's legs. "Suck," she says, uncrumpling a paper bag. Moses takes a herbal tablet, tastes the right and wrong of her strange land on his foreign tongue. Kevin from next door invites me in to show me his 5-foot-long scale model of the Mary Rose. How many matchsticks? How much glue? How long a stretching nick did this bloke do? Thank you, that's the post. That's completely true. It was an amazing model. Yeah. A lot of the poems in this book are kind of based around places that I've actually lived, and that one was Parkfields and it was the bloke next door. But some of the other places that are kind of, although it's imagined, they're kind of an amalgamation of All Saints in Wolverhampton and a little bit of Cannock, a little bit of Castlecroft. I also imagine that people in the different houses have jobs. The next one I'm going to share with you is the woman who lives just as you go up the street. I've drawn it all out in my head, I know where everything is. She works in a taxi base as a base operator at night, and in the daytime she works in the chip shop, which is on the corner of the close on the main road. I actually used to work as a taxi base operator, but this is not the company I worked for. It's based on the company that I'd like to have worked for, which was called Star Taxis, which is a real company, and I thought, what a great name. So this poem is called Star Taxis, Captain's Log, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. From inside her cage at base, she stares out at Venus' yellow walls, at the piece of space junk sitting in the plastic chair, shoveling handfuls of Major's chips which glow brighter than Sirius into the black hole of his mouth as he awaits transportation to Moxley. She rides out the lull, willing it to ring, and suddenly we have liftoff. Star after star after star, an explosion of stars. The receiver burns white hot. She's womaning the phones. She's bringing back the bingo babes from planet Mecca in the faraway galaxy of Wednesbury. She's maintaining radio contact with the taxi nauts as they orbit the town like satellites. She's adopting an advisory capacity. Hang on a bit for her Raj, her ain't too good with stairs. She's handling the meteor shower that pours in from Robin 2, putting a rocket under the Braidley boy who's been on Beetlejuice for far too long. This is a no-smoking area, take it outside, Space Cadet. He won't be burning up on re-entry. Bilston, she doesn't have a problem. Challenger, Columbia, not on her watch. She is mission control, and for 5 beautiful hours the universe revolves around her. By 3:15 the ticker tape parade is over. She's brought the heroes safely home. Sentinel, she holds her post, waiting in the dark for signs of life. Those straggler UFOs which may yet still appear in the light year between 4 and 6, when she prefers to think she's not alone with her thoughts and the occasional crackle of static. Thank you. The book is available to buy tonight. It says £9.99 on the back, but £7 to you. And there's a poem in the shape of a candlestick in it. Now, there's not many books that can say that. And it's also in the voice of a candlestick as well, so I think that's quite good value for £7 because you don't get that many books. I'm going to read it to you now instead of waffling on about it. If you buy my kids' book with it, you can have them both for £10. And it's called Use Nor Ornament, and you have to imagine that the inanimate objects at number 5 are talking again. It gets on me wick, so to speak, being useless. Brassed off I am. Can't think for sure the last time I had work. 78 or 79 was it? Good days, our kid. Every night the power went, they'd fertile in the kitchen drawer for candles, tutting their discontent. I'd fill their room with shadows and warm light, love, and the thanks I get, shoved on the back of the shelf next to glow-in-the-dark Mary. She says to keep the faith, to wait for the good times to come again. I tell her, get real, Mare, we having a prayer. At the back of the close, there's like a canal running behind it, like there is in a lot of black country places. So I'm going to finish with, it's quite a long piece, and it's in the voice of the canal. I used to live on a boat on the canal. It's a beautiful lifestyle, but it also has a dark side that people sometimes don't realise. The winters can be quite difficult. So as I say, it's in the voice of the canal. There are 2 things you need to know before I do this poem. One is the expression keep out the Osh Road, which most of you will know means goodbye or take care in the Black Country. And the other is an expression, stay off the shiny bits, which when you're on a boat and you're out drinking in the pub and you go to leave it at the end of the night, sometimes other boaters will say, stay off the shiny bits. And of course, what they mean is when you're on a towpath in the pitch dark, all you've got is the reflected light of the moon and the stars to kind of give you a bit of an indication of where not to walk. Yeah. So, as I say, it's in the voice of the canal goes like this, two sides. Even when my pleasant face is showered, don't say as how you have been told to stay off the shiny bits and keep out the osh road. Some days it's all salt of the earth and butter wouldn't melt and chocolate crumb smiles, and on those days when the sun shines, I'm gin clear. I'm coots and moorhens, I'm irises and lilies, I'm the suck of the carp, the plash of the ledger, the whir of a line, high about us laughter, a million lock miles from disaster. All about benevolence, hiding the malevolence. And yes, some days I am a Sunday school treat, I'm dangled feet, cooling toes, Jack Bannocks caught in a net, and then it's so easy to forget the dark side. On good days I'm all about the romance, the damselfly dance, and I give you courting couples necking on the towpath, out for a giggle, out for a laugh, chapping and wenching. On good days I'm happy to greet you with a smile, and for a while it's all life so sweet, and it's 50 tons of scaff delivered safely to Newhall Street. And I'm running like clockwork, steer to the bread, steer to the cheese. On days like these I'm a calm lunch break. A walk, trip, a jog, slip, a bike ride, skid, a nice light crack, the breeze in the willow trees. Timber, crash, all about benevolence, hiding the malevolence. Don't say as how you have been told to stay off the shiny bits and keep out the osh road. Because then there are those other days. Those cross-cratch, snide-hatch, slash-down, stare-rod, cat and dog, slugging sack, black as slack sort of days when I'm heart-stopping cold and I'm every poor soul whose life I've taken. From the navvies to the babbies, I'm every wretch that ever drowned it on a stretch or dropped into a lock, and on those days, the opposite is true. All about malevolence, hiding the benevolence. So don't say as how you have been told, stay off the shiny bits and keep out the osh road. On those days I'm cries for help, I'm the unheard lad from Lower Green who liked his pop, glug glug splosh. I'm the yelp of a drowning whelp. I'm the tears of the woman who took her own life. I'm the toddler overboard, boat disappearing in the foggy night. One less hungry mouth to feed. I'm the braids, bridge, boatman's hook, pulling bodies from the cut. On those days I'm fights over stolen water, I'm no better than I ought to be. I'm go on, I dare you, half a crown in your hand to egg you on. Oops, footing gone. On those days I'm watching you, catch your chin, bash your teeth, and I'm there at your side, whispering, you ma going in. And then it's easy to forget the lighter side. So, even when my pleasant face is showered, don't say as how you have been told to stay off the shiny bits and keep out the osh road. No, don't say as how you have been told to stay off my shiny bits and keep out the osh road. Cheers.